Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ann Miller French with Angelic Hands. I'm streaming live on three of my platforms today. My two Facebook pages, the one Psychic Medium Ann Miller French, the other one for Angelic Hands, and or my YouTube channel for Angelic Hands. So, hello and welcome to anyone that's joining me today. Feel free to send in hello. It's always nice to see who's joining me today. So I really was sitting, with myself and really asking myself, what message am I being guided to share today? And it's actually something that I've been working with for a long, long time, and that's working through grief. And there's, a lot of changes going on. There's, people all over the world experiencing grief in many different forms based on many different things, experiencing different losses. It's loss of a loved one, loss of time, loss of freedom, loss of self, loss of career, loss of home, loss of surroundings, loss of identity. I mean, really, so many different areas. And as I had shared earlier, I had lost my grandmother. So this was my dad's mom, and I had another wave of grief that came up today. And something that I really felt guided to share is that when you're going through it, old version of me would have allowed the interruption or the situation or whatever was there to literally take precedence over what was actually going on. And this time I said, you know what? I've got to work through this. And my inner child is sad right now. She's trying to get my attention. I just wanted to hold space for her. So I did that and just lovingly, listen to, the other situation that was going on, but literally taking a time out for myself to process what was coming up in that very moment. So, um, when I'm working with my clients and even something that I work with for myself, it's continuing to set those healthy boundaries. What are your non-negotiables as far as what are the things that you're doing for yourself to help you navigate, to help you move forward? So, little background about me and what I do. I am a quantum life coach and energy healer in many different capacities. I work with quantum energy healing, light language healing, Reiki therapy. So I'm also a Reiki master teacher. So I not only work with it, but I also teach students that want to become certified Reiki practitioners. And I'm a psychic, a medium, and intuitive. Definitely wear many different hats. And with being a quantum life coach, I specialize in ascension coaching, grief release work. That's a big part of, everyone's journey to be completely, honest and transparent, and the healing of the inner child. So, I've shared my journey as far as working through PTSD, that's post traumatic stress disorder, and working through sexual trauma, and being a survivor of domestic violence and sexual abuse, and working through my journey and working through the layers, and coming home to me again, creating that safe space for my little girl inside that I talked about earlier. So we all have our inner child. That's our little girl, little boy that's inside of us. And it's, really honoring when something is coming up. And I will tell you firsthand that when when you feel that feeling of grief, or like there's tears, that are coming up, we've been told, from early on, many of us have been told this: don't feel, don't express, don't cry, don't say this, don't do this, the word no. It's very, very, life changing for, childhood on. And, as you go through your adult years, you have all that trapped energy, which then over time it can solidify and harden. And you have aches, pains, a dis-ease in the body, different viruses, different illnesses. And I experienced a lot of different things, from really shoving down, numbing out, and suppressing how I was feeling, instead of actually looking at it and giving it a voice and acknowledging it, and then working through it, like going into those darker spaces and letting these things come up and giving myself permission to feel. So, big part of what I do when I'm working with my clients is holding space while they're ultimately, on their journey doing their work, and, whatever that looks like, and working through those layers. And, sometimes those things have been there for many, 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 many years, that create walls, that create barriers. And if you've ever felt stuck and you can't quite figure out what's standing in my way of me manifesting the life that I know that I deserve, or, doubting yourself, not feeling worthy, not feeling deserving, not feeling safe. And it literally comes down to going within, what is your story that's currently running inside of you. And this energy that is coming in, no joke. I mean, I'm really, really feeling this, and it's more of that heart expansion. The heart chakra, so heart into throat, and you know, really making that connection and being guided by your heart, and following your inner knowing as far as what your next steps are, and how you can continue to honor what's coming through for you, and perhaps hold space for another person. And the more that you go into it, and the more that you release, you will feel lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. And your body will also go through a transformation. Like, I look at earlier pictures of myself. I mean, I truly, you know, want to look at some of my earlier photos, like post an earlier photo to current day. My body has transformed so much, no joke. I mean, I look younger today versus um, when I was working through illnesses and injuries, and different ailments. And I had so many trapped emotions that were in my body. And I just feel lighter and brighter and happier, and have that inner peace running inside of me. So, some of the things that you can do as you're working through grief, if you're working through a loss of any kind, as I mentioned before, if you're working through loss of a loved one, or loss of lifestyle, loss of home, loss of career, um, you feel like you're losing a part of yourself, it's really taking that time to honor what's coming up for you. And, even having that dialogue. Like, I'll have my clients, imagine like a young version of themselves, or go back to a time where they were, like, honor whatever's coming up. If there was, loss of a loved one, or something that they experienced, like, imagine that you are the hero that you never had, the presence that you never had, perhaps the guardian or the parent that you never had, being that presence, holding space for that younger version of you, or that past version of you, and allowing him or her to speak. And letting them have a voice. And what are the messages, even asking yourself the question, what is this bringing up for me right now? How, you know how are you feeling right now? What do you need from me right now? What can I do for you right now? Taking those deep breaths, getting your body out of the fight, flight, or freeze, and really helping to soothe the nervous system because, for many of us that have, experienced for most of our lives trauma of any kind, we develop the PTSD, and it takes us back into it may be a different person, different set of circumstances, but it's like it reactivates and you feel like you're back in that environment again. So it's saying, okay, this is going on. I accept that I'm triggered right now. Let's look at this. Let's break this down. Let's see what's here. So again, as I mentioned before, whether you're, working with me in a coaching capacity or energy healing capacity, or even during a reading, we look at those different things, see what's coming up, and really start to dissect and see what's there. And I know that the more work that I do, even for myself, for my own personal journey, it allows more of me to be present and to hold space for another person. And it's it really comes down to, do you want change? Do you want to bring about change in your life? Are you asking for changes in your outer world? It starts with your inner world. I mean, it's going in, doing the inner work, looking at what's coming up, and I cannot stress that enough. A lot of times we look externally for the answers, but everything is housed inside of us, but it's going in and trusting and following our inner navigation system as far as where we're being guided. So, yes, you can definitely do this work on your own. There's quite a bit of it that you do alone, but I found even with my own personal experiences when I went through, um, few years of working with a life coach, it really helped to identify those blind spots and those areas and those different things that I was missing and help me to, break down those walls and those barriers and those things that were holding me back and to reprogram the subconscious mind and start to have more awareness and really stepping into um, being more conscious and lead from higher self rather than being in a space of um, not trusting and shutting down and disassociating, numbing out. And I work through a lot of different addictions, a lot of different things. So for me, my addictions, was food, was shopping, it was, thinking that that next thing or that next hit was gonna help to numb out what I was feeling inside. And it, essentially, the problem was still there. So it was saying, you know what, this isn't what's going to take care of it. It's going in and taking a look at those things that are really trying to get your attention right now, and not, even asking yourself the question, what am I afraid to look at right now? I mean, really, really, truly, is when you start going in and you get that ball moving and you're waking up, it's helping you to work through the layers. It's helping you to remember who you truly are, just how powerful you are, and clearing away the clutter and opening yourself up to all the possibilities. And the message that came through the other day was freedom unlimited, unlimited freedom. I mean, who doesn't want that, in any way, shape, or form? And it's available to each and every one of us. But if you don't feel free in here, you're going to see that outside of you. So it's taking those steps, going in, looking at what's coming up and, really working through your journey. So, thank you for the heart. Not sure who that came in from, but I'm always grateful for the love. I definitely could feel that. So thank you. So I was out and about today and just running some errands and as I mentioned before, that wave grief can come up in waves. So all of a sudden, I saw a sign. I knew it was from my grandma, and then I got into my car and I could feel those feelings percolating. And then I turned on the radio and the song Spirit in the Sky came on. And hi, Captain Rabbit. So it really, whew, I mean, I felt it here and I knew that she was with me. And being a psychic, being a medium, I'm so grateful that I've already been able to connect with her. And I know that she's having an amazing reunion with my dad that passed away almost 2 years ago, and um, my grandpa, and other loved ones, her mom and dad, and there's a big old party going on. So I just took that time to honor what was coming up for my little girl. And I just, before I even, started driving home, I sat in the parking lot. I let the tears out. I held space for her like a mother to a child. And I just allowed myself to grieve, work through another layer, that was coming up. So, to anyone out there that is working through, loss of any kind, that's working through grief, my heart goes out to you. Um, Continue to stay hydrated and really, honor yourself. Have a listen to the messages that are coming through from your little girl or your little boy. Automatic writing is amazing. You can take a pen, piece of paper, start writing out you know, what you're feeling. And you don't have to keep that piece of paper. It's just to get it out of your body. It's like a form of purging and clearing and making space. You can, create art from your grief. And I actually had a beautiful vision come through of a beautiful heart with these different colors, like something that I know that my grandmother would have loved. And she loved hummingbirds. So it's just, really taking the time and, honoring those childhood memories and all the precious time that I did have with her. And um, just knowing that she's at peace. All my loved ones that, have passed over the years, they're all at peace, they're happy, and each and every one of us deserves to be happy. And oh, I'm just reading the message, Samantha. Oh, you're so very welcome. So very welcome, Samantha, for whatever it is that you're currently going through. I'm sending you some love. And, it is a process. If you look at the grieving cycle and all the different things, like there's, some people say there's 5 stages, some say there's 7, some say there's 9. I mean, really, it's just going through the ebbs and the flow as far as what is coming up and not trying to shove it down, ignore it, or tune it out, or even medicate it out, because truth be told, I know from my own personal experiences, it's gonna get your attention one way or another, and it's taking that time and working through it. And um, it's pretty much what I have for you today. So, if you are interested in learning more about me, my journey, perhaps life coaching, I offer quantum life coaching, psychic readings, medium readings. Perhaps you would love to connect with a loved one or receive some guidance on, what's going on for you energetically. Check out my website, or there's energy healing. Like I mentioned, there's Reiki, quantum energy healing, light language healing. And I absolutely am extremely grateful and passionate about what I do. And I literally turn my life's pain into my life's purpose. And, I reflected on that again today. And, it's like giving yourself that pat on the back, saying, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for not giving up. So proud of you for hanging in there. So take that time, look in the mirror, and literally say those words to yourself. Honor where you've been, where you currently are, and know that you know just taking one step at a time, one step forward, and it is possible to make change. So my website is reikiangelic hands.com. The website information, how to get a hold of me, is listed in the description of today's live. If you're catching this later today on the replay, you know, add your comments. Always great to connect with you, and I hope that you have an amazing weekend. And yeah, Samantha, that's so true. Take care. And to everyone on Facebook and YouTube land, many blessings to you. Thank you.